Hi, and thank you. This is a thank you video to the one subscriber that I have. So, I've debated doing collective readings. I've done tarot before, and I've been uh, shockingly good at it, especially looking back at the knowledge I have now of some of the first readings I've done. Ooh boy, was I on. So, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm not someone that's too familiar with a lot of the signs and zodiac correspondence and stuff yet. I intend to learn because it's fun and it's interesting to me. I've always found it interesting, the currents we find ourselves in of these planets that seem to affect us in such ways, because I think we've all felt Mercury retrograde, and we've all heard the stories of the full moon and what can happen in hospitals and 911 call centers. So it's not like it doesn't happen. It just might be a more subtle energy. But I felt called to do this collective reading, and maybe this will help someone out there. So I pulled these cards before, and I was actually going to make this video last night, but I had some internet issues, so I just wanted to make sure that I could get the video out as soon as I made it. So on to the reading. The first card we have is the Ace of Swords, and this is from a tarot deck called Meaning Tarot. It simply has zodiac correspondences, elements, as well as some really cool little phrases on here, which is why I picked them up. It says, speak your mind to solve your problems. And as you know, the Ace of Swords is in the realm of the mind. So what I take this as is there is an idea that someone has out there, and this idea is about to take off. Now the next card, because this is just a 4-card draw, the next card that I picked is the High Priestess. And it says, trust your own counsel first. So, to round that out, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and it says, enjoy the results of all of your hard work. And finally, we have the Chariot, and the saying is, you have success in the face of difficulty. Now, to supplement this reading, to further enlighten us as to what's going on, I've pulled some cards from this deck called the Moonology deck, and I pulled 3 cards to sort of see what's going on in the upper realms. So the first card I pulled, and this would go between the Ace of Swords and the High Priestess, is a time to give rather than take. So I take this as you need to give to yourself, or perhaps if something is forming in terms of a relationship or a project idea, it's time to give to that idea, nurture that idea. And of course, if you have that idea, the next card, which would be in between the High Priestess and the Nine of Pentacles, would be confidence is key to your success. Now, the reason that's important is because instead of getting to the Ten of Pentacles, well, you have to get to the Nine of Pentacles first, right? So confidence is key to that success. And even when you don't have that Ten of Pentacles, you're getting there. So the next card is going to be between the Nine of Pentacles and the Chariot, and this is a new romantic cycle begins. Now, for those of you that are not necessarily looking for anything romantic at the moment, don't take this as love is going to be knocking on your door, or maybe it is. But if that's not the case, keep in mind that you can fall in love with this new idea, whatever this Ace of Swords we have going on here is. Whatever the case may be, fall in love with that new idea. And it may be as simple as, let's say you're moving into a new house, new apartment, new dwelling, if you will. You almost have to kind of fall in love with the place and say, well, what can I do to make it my own? And that's kind of the vibe that I get, is maybe you're falling in love with that new project, that new job. Maybe it's just revitalizing an old space, which is something I've been doing. I've been cleaning up areas that I've had to within the house. It's very interesting. Oh, and one thing I noticed about all these moon cards is that they are all new moon cards. New moon, new moon, new moon. So something new is happening. And it's definitely looks like it's taking place in secret until you're ready for this project to come out. Now, I also pulled some cards from a deck called Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And I was going to pull four cards to supplement the tarot cards that I had pulled, but 5 came out. So we're going to go over those. And I would like to read the definitions. I'm just very limited in the time that I have right now. So if you could leave a like or a comment if you felt this reading resonated, it'll help it get to more people and help more people watch the videos, and that'll allow me to make longer videos. So that would be very helpful. So the next card, and this will go under the Ace of Swords, is Charity. Now the definition of this card is that this woman and her children are seeking some sort of charity from this institution, and then we also have what I believe are the better angels above. Now, I don't take this card as the literal definition it was given. What I see it as someone being charitable to themselves, maybe listening to their better angels and not necessarily trusting the institutions that they've been told to trust. So be charitable with yourself as you embark on your new adventure. The next card, I thought I put him over there, is Empathy. Now, the Empathy card, basically, what I see is a young boy being empathetic towards a dog. And then we also have what looks to be a golden idea of sorts, a diamond going into the ear. Now, what I see this as, perhaps you need to listen to those charitable ideas that you're having and maybe take some time, maybe be empathetic. And if it is a new relationship, be empathetic with that new partner or friend or business partner or perhaps neighbor if you're moving into a new house. So we have that card, and that goes between the Ace of Swords and the High Priestess. So up next we have Power. Now, the way that I see this card is that there is something beneath the surface that is beginning to rise up. And this power that's rising up within you is going to help you cross the threshold that we see depicted here and possibly climb the mountain that is this idea that's starting to come to fruition, because what we think might be easy turns into something that always has a little more complications along the way, let's be honest. So that would go between the High Priestess and the Nine of Pentacles, if you're keeping track. Next up, and this goes between the Nine of Pentacles and the Chariot, goes to Friendship. And what I see in this card is two people that may have been sort of wandering by themselves, off in the weeds, if you will, but they find companionship in their adventure together. Whatever that might be, or perhaps it's, sort of coming home to yourself, realizing that discussions with your higher self are actually what's driving these ideas. We're dealing with the Ace of Swords, so it is in the realm of the mind. So we have that card. And then to close out, we have this final card, which is Vision. And what I see this as is I actually see this as what these two boys, or children, I see them as boys playing, at least that's how they're dressed, are actually seeing this card off in the distance. As you can see, that looks like there's a hue of a sunrise there, and it almost looks like that's what's going on here. And then of course we have the Eye of Providence as well. And some people might think you're crazy, like a fox, for going through and following through whatever this idea might be. So with that in mind, I see that with this new friendship together, or perhaps the friendship with yourself, or whatever relationship might spawn because of this new idea, or out of this new idea, will help you with your vision of what this idea might ultimately become. So, I hope in the future to be able to have like a table where I can show these cards. But for the time being, we have, let's see here, 3, 4, and 5 cards spread. So I think this is how I'll do it for the time being, unless I feel called to do it an entirely different way. But the way that I see it is that we have some sort of idea that may involve a reluctant romance or friendship, something that may not necessarily be something you considered, but that's why you look at the cards, right? You need to see what's on the map ahead of you. It'd be like going on a road trip and not doing your due diligence and preparing and finding out, okay, well, there's gas stations every so often, so we can keep the gas going and we can, keep the trip going. If you just kind of go off into the wilderness without preparing in the slightest bit, you might catch yourself in a situation where it's not necessarily the best thing. But that's where I think this friendship and new romantic cycle sort of come in. And that might be moving kind of quick. So we'll see. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. So we'll see what that holds for you. And those are the last cards of each. And then we also have that final vision card. So I hope you hold on to that vision, despite maybe a bit of a rocky start where you had to be charitable with yourself, at least in the initial part of it. Because projects like that can be kind of scary. I know I've definitely had some reservations doing this whole YouTube thing, but it's been fun. I've had fun doing this, and I'll keep doing it whether anybody watches or not, because to be perfectly honest, it's fun for me and it gives me something to do. So I appreciate you watching, and thank you so much for tuning in. I was just looking at these cards here, and I have to say this is pretty good if you're starting out. And I think that eventually you'll find that power that maybe you're missing, that power of mind, power of spirit, whatever might be lacking to start this project. Just know that you might find it along the way. It actually might be something you find in the middle, as shown by this card. So we got I don't know if they're going to be in the proper order, but we got charity, empathy, and then we have power to follow that up. And then friendship. Falling all over here. And then finally, the vision. So don't be too hard on yourself if it's a little rocky in the beginning. You don't necessarily feel like you have everything you need, but know that you do have all you need. I didn't think I'd be doing a video like this right off the bat, but what the heck, What the heck? I got 1 subscriber. I might as well celebrate and use it as an excuse to make a video. And who knows, maybe this will be exactly what that one person needs to hear. So carry on with that project, whatever it might be, because there's a vision there. There's a vision. And it always takes someone with a vision to make a cool project. No artist, no painter, no filmmaker, no comic book, or even video game developer has not had a vision of what they wanted to do. So whatever vision you have, hold on to that. It's special, it's unique, and only you can bring it to the world the way that you have it envisioned. So with that in mind, I'll leave you there to continue to work on your vision and to find your power, and hopefully you'll be on that chariot soon enough and you'll be able to show the world what you got going on. So until then, and until our next reading, which I think I'll start doing at least once a month, be sure to tune in. Thank you so much. Bye.